In our last episode of the 30, we talked about the leadership reset, recharge, refocus, and ready to lead. Today, on today's episode, we are going to look at from reset to results, turning intention into action. This is the 30. Let's get started. Well, hello there, folks. Welcome to the 30. Glad to have you here with me on another episode. I hope all is well with you. Last week, we talked about, I give you the 3 R's, right? When we talked about the leader, reset, recharge, refocus, and ready to lead. Today, we are going to take it up a notch. We're going to be talking about reset to results, from reset to results, turning intention into action. Of course, the 30 is brought to you by the Jackman Group LLC, and we are a leadership development firm helping leaders and those that want to be leaders, desire to be leaders, taking you from where you are to where you desire to be. We also work with teams with strategic planning and enhancing their overall teamwork. So that's the Jackman Group in a nutshell, but we're here on the 30, of course, and I am your host. Thank you for joining me for another episode. As always, I am grateful that you've chosen to spend 30 or so minutes with me. We do, whether I come on by myself with conversations or I interview leaders from all areas and spaces around the world. So today, let's talk about from reset to results, because one thing that we know is that a reset by itself is not the finish line. We talked about that briefly last week. A reset by itself is not the finished line. Resetting prepares you, but it doesn't propel you. I'll say that again. Reset prepares you, but it doesn't propel you. So tonight we're going to be talking about what comes next after we've done the reset. What comes next? We're going to move from reset to results, right? Because intention without action goes nowhere. We may have the best intention, but if there's no action associated with it, we go nowhere. And clarity without follow through quickly fades. Clarity without follow through basically fades away. So what are we talking about? We're talking about action. We're talking about moving to the next level. I always tell those that we have the privilege to serve, whether it's a training capacity or in a coaching capacity, is that we can give you the greatest content, right? We can give you everything that you need from a content perspective. We can give you all the details. We can give you everything that you need, ideas, the concepts. We can give you all those. But if you as a leader don't take action, if you don't move from one to the next, if you don't move from learning to action, then it's a waste of time for us. And more importantly, it's a waste of time for you. So that's what we are going to be talking about. So tonight I'm going to give you 3 practical ways leaders can move from intention, right, your best intention, to actually action and results. We're going to move from intention to results. And those practical ways is, number 1, turning clarity into consistent action, right? The second one is moving from learning in the classroom to leading outside of the classroom. Then we're going to be talking about building early wins that create a lasting impact. So those are the 3 things, 3 practical ways that we're going to focus on with today's episode of the 30. And if I don't get to all 3, guess what? You come back with me next week. But my goal is really to see if I can get to all 3 of them in the 30 minutes that you're with me. If not, we will follow up next week. So these principles will help you. So what's the benefit of having these principles? I'm not in the I would say the mood, or I'm not about wasting your time, because I know your time is very important, right? The way you spend it, the way you invest your time, not spend, but the way that you invest your time is very important. And I don't take it lightly that whether you're watching us live or in replay, I don't take it lightly that you take the time to invest by watching us. And for those that we have the privilege to train or coach or speak with, I am eternally grateful for that. But the goal of this is to really to help you to finish strong. We are in the last phase of this year. So I want to set you up where you can finish strong. We don't want you to wimp to the end, to drag to the end of the year, and then look back and says, what did I do for this year? My intent, my purpose over the next couple of months is to help you to finish strong. And at the end, towards the end of the program, this episode, I am going to announce something that will even help you to finish, to give you the tools that will help you to finish stronger, right? So stick around. I don't want you to miss it. I don't want you to tune out. I want you to be here to the end, where I will make an announcement at the end where we will help you. Hopefully that you will be engaged, where we can help you and assist you to finish strong. So that's what we are talking about today. So let's look at the first point. The first point is turning clarity into consistent action. Now, as leaders, we all love clarity. At least that is my hope, right? Is that we all love to, not only for us when we receive information, but also my hope is that when you speak to your teams, that you make it clear, that there's some clarity, because that will avoid confusion from you getting the information and then distributing the information down to your team members. So clarity is important, whether it is the vision statement, whether it's the strategic plan, whether it's the mission, whether it's a task. We should all strive to gain clarity, but also to give clarity. All things matter, right? Clarity is very important. We don't want to confuse anyone, and we don't want to be confused. But clarity that never becomes consistent action is wasted. I'll say that again. Clarity that never becomes consistent action is wasted. And I know you do not like to waste time. Effective leaders, exceptional leaders, certainly don't like to waste time. Think about this. Clarity is the picture on the puzzle box. Action is when you start actually taking out the puzzle and doing the puzzle. That is action. We look at the puzzle on the box and we may read the instructions, right? Or it's not whether it's a puzzle or something else. We look at the box, We read the instructions, we gain clarity about it. But what's the next step? We have to take action. If we want to make sure that we accomplish our goals or accomplish that mission, we must take action. In the case of a puzzle, is putting it all together. So whether it's a puzzle, whether it's exercise, whether it's dieting, whether it is health, whatever it is, clarity is one thing, but that's not the end. Action is required in order to achieve our goals. So how do you turn clarity into consistent action? There are three ways that we can do that. Simplify, right? Keep things simple. You probably have heard, I've heard of this, and maybe you have, right? The KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Well, let's turn it around. I'll say keep it simple, star or superstar, right? Keep it simple, superstar. So don't overcomplicate things. We know people that sometimes we tend to overcomplicate it. We know some individuals that do that. We know sometimes we ourselves do that. Sometimes we could get so excited that we overcomplicate things. Just keep it simple. Use the KISS method. Ask, what is one step forward this week that aligns with my bigger vision? I told you, and on our site, we have the goal sheet, right? We talk about the objective, the strategy, and the action steps. So look at it as a goal. What is your goal or your objective? What is your strategy? Your strategy is a general course of action that will help you to get to your goal or your objective. Your action steps will help you. Those are the ways, the specific steps that will help you to get to your strategy, that will help you to get to your goal or your objective. So when you look at your action steps are the individual things that you will do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that will get you to the bigger picture, which is your objective, right? So you have to simplify it. The simplifying is your action steps, the individual items that's going to help you to get to the big win. So simplify the win, make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it, right? Because that's not going to help you to get you to your big win. I heard, and I wrote it down. I can't find it, but I wrote it down, and I heard someone said about habits. So one of those things, if you want to accomplish your goal or your objective, I hope I get this right, but if you want to be successful in any goal or objective, you have to look at your steps or your habits, and your habits have to align with what you want to get to, right? So that's simple. Develop your habits. Develop simple habits. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't look at a destination. Look at the journey, and the journey starts with one step, step by step by step. Schedule the priority. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just talk about it, just do it. Put it on your calendar. I tell folks all the time, if we talk about meeting, if I don't put it on my calendar, it probably isn't going to happen. And I don't know if that's you. Maybe it's my maturity level where I can't remember everything. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you have a great memory where you remember everything. Well, if I don't put it on my calendar, chances are it's not going to happen. And if I don't put it on my calendar right away and make it a priority, chances are it's not going to happen. So don't just talk about it, be about it. Make it a priority. Write it down. Put it on your calendar. If not scheduled, it's not real. Right? If it is not scheduled, it's not real. So what I started doing, as opposed to if I'm schedule a meeting or someone wants to schedule a meeting with me, what I started doing recently is sending out my calendar link. And then they can schedule the meeting or a discussion based on their own schedule. But I have it built already into my calendar. So if they go to my calendar link, and they look at my calendar, then they can see what's available based on their schedule and select a date and time, right? And now it goes into their calendar and it goes into my calendar. Because if it's not scheduled, it's not real. I'll forget about it. The second or the third part in terms of how do we turn clarity into consistent action is repeat. Repeat until it sticks, over and over and over again. See, leaders often underestimate the power of repetition. When you repeat, you reinforce. I'll say that again. When you repeat, you reinforce. You hear this saying, right? Practice makes perfect. You've heard this, that people say that all the time. Well, practice makes perfect. Well, to some extent it does, but I take it a step further and says perfect practice makes permanent. But it all starts with good habits. It all starts with, right, good habits, developing good habits and repeating over and over and over again. You hear sports coaches, those that are in sports, and I used to say this to my players when I coach youth soccer. When I taught youth soccer as a coach of youth soccer teams, I would tell my players, and I've heard professional coaches say this, or managers say this all the time. How you practice is how you play. So if you practice lousy, guess what? I don't expect you to play well. I know Allen Iverson, he made this phrase, practice. You're talking about practice. Well, yes, I'm talking about practice, repeat behavior. So if you practice lousy all the time, that's a repeat behavior. What's going to happen when you go on the pitch, when you go on the field? Guess what? How you practice, your behavior is going to duplicate it on the field. And that's also as a leader. So you have to repeat until it sticks. Repeat it over and over again. So if you don't know how to coach, or if you don't know how to give feedback, let's pull that one out. Because part of what we do in our leadership training, right, is teach leaders how to provide or give feedback. That's a missing piece. That's a huge gap in my experience in not only leading teams, but also training and developing and coaching leaders, teaching and training leaders. That is a gap. That is a gap in terms of giving feedback. It's not constructive criticism, it's constructive feedback. And what we find at the Jackman Group as we engage leaders and teams is that leaders think that they know how to give feedback, but in essence, they don't. And they have to get rid of the old, and now we're going to teach them new. But in order to become good at it, in order for it to stick, you have to repeat it over and over again, and then you have to reinforce it. Let me give you a thought about this, right? Sometimes I engage. Let me give you another thought. Sometimes as I engage prospective clients, the client may say, Patrick, we want to bring the Jackman Group on to help us with our leaders and our teams. But we only want you to come in and do a training. And sometimes I may tell the person, thank you, but no thank you. Because if you want us to come in and simply do a box check, right, training your leaders, that's not an effective use of your finances or our time. Because we know from experience, in order for behavior to change, it has to be reinforced. What was learned has to be reinforced. So we can't come in and do one training and we expect change to happen. It happens over time. So it has to be repeated. What was learned has to be repeated over and over and over again. It has to be reinforced. What was taught has to be reinforced in order for behavior to change. It's that simple. So if we have the opportunity and the privilege to help your leaders and your teams, we're looking forward to not just as a one-time training, but a continuous piece for reinforcement activities to help move the needle from where you were to where you desire to be as a leader and a leader of teams. So it takes time. So that's where the third part is, or the third thought is, when we look at turning clarity into consistent action. It's about repeating until it sticks. Changing behaviors takes time, and it has to be reinforced. Right? So that's good. So when you move from having a clear idea to having a clear rhythm where results show up. So from idea to rhythm, meaning action, right? Idea, action, that's when results happen. So if you have an idea and just stay under idea, well, I have this great thought and idea. But if you never turn it into action, nothing is going to happen. It remains an idea. And we're looking at results, right? We're talking about results. We're talking about making things happen, turning intention into action in order to achieve results. That's what we're talking about. So let's move into point 2 here. So point 2 of turning intention into action. So the first one was clarity into consistent action. Point 2 is moving from learning into leading. So as you know, from the Jackman Group, right, we do a lot of training, a lot of coaching, a lot of developing of leaders and teams. That's what we do. We also do, with some organization, strategic planning, right, and looking at their organization and helping them to become more effective. So let's be honest. And I've seen this, right? And I'm not knocking anyone. I appreciate everyone that's out there trying to develop leaders, trying to move the needle. But if you never led, and everything that you get from books or podcasts or seminars, that's great because you have all the information. But if you never have led, and I know some people say, well, how come he said that? That could be pretty right? That's not good. That's yeah, it's not good, but it's a reality. Let's be honest, right? Let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes you have to do it in order to say it. We have great intent. I love reading. I love listening to podcasts. I love going to conferences. I don't do enough of it. But for 2026, that's one of my goals, is to get back to conferences. But all those things are great because you have information. But now you have to take that information and put it into action and to your leading. Recently, I sent an email out actually this morning to the leaders that completed our summer MPACT Leaders Leadership training. We did that in June. We completed it in July 1st, 5 weeks. So I sent it out again to get feedback and input from them as to what did they learn, concepts, ideas that they're putting into action now. I want to get some feedback. I also want to find out what they took away from the training so that we can get the information that will help others in future cohorts. And I told them in the program that the 5 weeks, meaning 1 day per week for 5 weeks, we were going to leave it all on the pitch. We're going to give you everything that we had. I also, when we do training with the city of Rochester and our other clients, we tell them that we're going to give you everything that we have. But I also let them know I can give you the keys, but I can't drive the car for you. So you have to learn how to take learning and apply it to your leading. Don't just take the information that we give you. You have to apply the information in order to be effective. So if we take the information and we don't apply it, what have we done? What have we done? In essence, we become consumers, not leaders. So it's about the application of what we've learned. True leadership begins when you apply what you've learned. With all the books that I've read, with the conferences and seminars that I've gone to over the 20-something years, if I only did that, but I didn't apply anything, do you think I'll be here with you today? Do you think I'll be able to tell stories of the things that didn't work, the mistakes that I made, the things that I've gone through? I couldn't, because I didn't apply it. So how could I come tell you what worked from what didn't work? I couldn't tell you how I failed. I couldn't tell you what went wrong because I didn't try it. I didn't apply it. Not try it, but I didn't apply it. It's all about taking what you've learned and apply it to leading, right? It's all about being transparent. It's all about taking what you've learned and letting your teams know, hey, this is what worked. But more importantly, this is what didn't work, because we learned from our successes and our failures. And failing is okay. The great Zig Ziglar said, failure is an event, it's not a person. Because you fail, that doesn't make you a failure. There are many people that fail, but those same people became successful. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to apply what you've learned. If it didn't work the first time, do it the second time. If it didn't work the second time, do it the third time. But let us walk with you, not just in training, but also in coaching, because training and coaching are two different things. So give us the opportunity to walk with you, training, but also coaching. So application matters more than accumulation, because we can accumulate knowledge, but when we apply the knowledge, that's where things happen. So 3 ways to shift from learning to leading. Teach it to your team. Teach what you've learned to your team. If it's something valuable, teach them. Share it. Second way is test it out in real time. Don't wait till it's perfect. So many people wait I'm going to wait till everything lines up. I'm going to wait till all ducks in a row. I'm going to wait till it's perfect, and then I may apply it. No, you don't understand the concept. You have to apply it then. Pilot the new idea or the new concept. Test it out in real time. And then lastly, track for impact. Notice what changed. Notice how you've changed. Notice how you've progressed. Notice your growth. Trust your growth. Did results improve? Did communication strengthen? How so? So you got to track your results. When you move from learning to leading, growth now becomes contagious. And it's all about growth, folks. I'm excited about this. I am. That's point 2, right? Next week, I'm going to move into point 3, And we're going to finish this on next week because we're out of time on this one. So join me next week. But I want to talk about the announcement here. This is perfect timing, folks. This is perfect timing because similar to what we talked about in the summer, if you're serious about moving from intention to consistent action, you don't have to do it alone. We want to partner with you, meaning the Jackman Group LLC. We as leadership consultants, leadership practitioners, we want to partner with you. That's only if you're serious. So here's what is going to happen. This fall, we started it in the summer. We had a cohort. We have 5 graduates, and they're doing great things. And you're going to you heard from 2 of them before. My hope is that we can get a couple more of them on to talk about their experience. But this fall, we're going to be launching our MPACT Leaders Leadership 5-week training cohort. It's 5 weeks of targeted leadership growth designed to help you sharpen your leadership skills and, more importantly, see results. So that's our announcement for today. So how do you learn more? How do you find out more about our leadership program? I am going to put it up here. I'm also going to put it into our, I'm also going to add it to the description of this episode. But if you want to learn more, join us. Take this link down. Go to it. Invest in yourself. Invest in your own development. Maybe ask your company if they're willing to invest in you and give you an opportunity to attend. If you would like some more information, go to this link right there. Or if you'd like to email me, if you have multiple people coming from one company, send me an email. info@jackmangroupllc.com. That's info@jackmangroupllc.com. And we can discuss some discounts for you, some packages for you. Space is limited, folks. You don't want to miss this. We had a great time. The leaders are off and running from our summer cohort. This is our fall cohort. I hope that you can join us. Right? We're going to be talking about this more in the weeks to come. You can also go to my LinkedIn page. You can go to the Jackman Group Facebook page, LinkedIn page. All the information will be there because this is an opportunity. If you are serious, right? We're not talking about if you're not serious. If you're serious about moving from intention to consistent action, I implore you to join us, right? We want to help you. You're not alone in this journey. We want to walk side by side with you. All right. Well, folks, that's it for now. I want to thank you for being here. Make sure that you join us next week. In the meantime, keep leading, keep growing, and keep making an impact. May God bless you and your family. We'll see you next week on another episode of The 30. God bless.